Hi, everyone. It's Rachel, Oracle spiritual healer and teacher. And I apologize, I am still sick. Um, so I have my tissues and my um, cough drops, my sore throat lozenges to help me get through the day, really, and the video. And I had a request to talk about the timeline shift that we all just had. So, to go back a little bit, I felt this around the new moon, February 27th. And that day specifically, I had this pain from the base of my skull, top of my neck, all of my down my neck into my shoulders. And I wasn't quite sure because I also was I got sick a few days before that. So I thought maybe it was part of that. But then it came back on Sunday, same thing, exactly the same thing. And it had sort of this sort of crippling effect where I felt like I couldn't move, almost like this sort of pressure. I've also been having lucid dreams, um, as well as not being able to sleep. And the more people I talk to, I hear the same exact things from them. Same pain in the same places, same sort of crazy, uh, unusual dreams that's taking place. And this all has to do with the energy that's present and will continue to sort of stay present. Not that it's exactly the same energy, but that there's so much happening this month energetically. I think we're only 10 days away from, was it a lunar eclipse? Yes, lunar eclipse. So we'll be feeling that soon as well. So this all is part of it. So this timeline shift, I feel like took place, yeah, around the new moon, so February 27th. And how it's been shown to me is, there's these two timelines, collective timelines. That one timeline is for those individuals who are wanting to evolve, come more into their heart space, wanting to be more in community, taking care of each other, making decisions about not just themselves or things that benefit solely them, but that are really sustainable, that benefit all or a greater number of people. And it's more this sort of humanitarian energy. And again, that's the Aquarius energy, but you know, it's about all of us taking care of each other. So that's one of the collective timelines. The other collective timeline is for those individuals who are wanting to sort of keep expressing old thought forms, um, old energetic coding that have been present here on Earth for centuries. These are the people that are more interested in continuing to explore and express anger, resentment, power dynamics, and like overpowering or giving power away. So someone's overpowering them and they're allowing it, or overpowering other people. Um, Fear based sort of doing and thinking. Um, and it's overall sort of oppressive, is the feel. Like it's almost less freedoms, more oh, this is my place and this is all it'll ever be. This is my place and that's it. You know, I am only a carpenter, right? And there's nothing else. Or I'm only, the person that sells you milk at the farmer's market. And what I mean by that is it's a sort of consciousness that's limiting. It's a limiting belief system as opposed to an expansive belief system in that, um, that's tied to creativity and creation and moving things forward. A limited belief system actually keeps things in place, pretty much how they are. So that's the other timeline. Um, and so another way of thinking about it energetically is, the sort of power dynamics and self-serving energy. The Yeah, that's all more like in alignment with the third chakra, which is about our willpower, our strength, ego, how we view ourselves. And we're moving from that collectively into our heart space, which is more about empathy, compassion, loving all of life, all living, sorry, loving um, all things that live, um, and including ourselves. So that's what's happening collectively. We're sort of moving up into higher consciousness, into um, deeper states of evolution. And that I'm not saying that excludes the lower chakras at all, but we're moving out of more of an animal nature and more into our spiritual nature, which is deeper connection, our intuitive abilities coming more online. Um, yeah, deeper sensitivities. Um, yeah, more of this sort of universal, we're all in this together. The realization or recognition that we're all one, that we all come from the same place. It's more of that is what we're collectively moving into if we're choosing that. So so these are the two collective timelines. And right now, they're both bumpy. They're both bumpy because even though there's two different timelines, we're still having to interact with each other, right? We're still having to work with people who have different values than us and have a different perspective and live in a different reality than us. And that'll stay that way for a while. And you can see it. I mean, it's not like we're totally just in and around people that have the same values um, and way of living as us or as you all the time. And you can see that across the globe. So we're still sort of, both roads are bumpy, and both groups of people are having to work together in some way, in some capacity. And eventually, these two timelines are going to start to go in different directions more and more. Or eventually, your entire world, your entire reality will be amongst people who have a shared sort of vision, shared values, shared goals. Maybe not exactly the same reality because there's multiple realities happening at once, but a very more similar reality to the one you're choosing to live in. So that there starts to become these different ways that are more distinct from each other of living and doing and being in the world. Again, more heart-centered, where there's evolution happening and new energy codes coming in and being sort of downloaded, initiated, integrated into those beings. The other timeline being more of the same, more of the old programming, just old, the outdated stuff, and that's okay. It's just that those people aren't ready yet. That's all. So there's, if you tend to want to judge or be frustrated, those are your feelings. Have them, and those people just aren't ready yet to move on. They're not ready to move on from the past and what they've known. We're not all here to do that. There are some of us that are here very specifically to help shift things, to bring in new energy, to awaken. And then there are other people that are here to be awakened, more so, more so. So, anyway, eventually, over time, um, those two bumpy roads as they exist now won't have to interact with each other as much. There's so much change that's coming in the years ahead. And this is just really sort of the beginning.
Yeah.
um, yeah. So, so this is again the collective timelines. Individually, we can still shift. Timelines are shifting all of the time, and our timelines shift based off of what we decide um, we want, what we decide we want to do. For an example, you could know someone or have someone in your family that has had specific values and belief systems, perspectives their whole life, and an event will take place where all of a sudden it shifts, where what they believed for 40 years, they question or no longer believe, or they see it in a different way. That shifts that person into a completely different trajectory from where they were coming from. Some people won't have those huge shifts and they'll sort of stay in the collective timeline they're in. Other people will, one way or the other. Um, one way or the other. It can go either way. um, so just know that this is sort of collectively what's happening. It's sort of like the larger polarity. But individually, at any point, any of us can shift the timeline we're on. We can quicken time, we can extend time. Um, and it all is based off of our deep desires, our beliefs, and how we're directing our energy and the choices we make. All right, so Spirit wants me to pull a card around these timelines. So let's see what else wants to be shared. Courage. It takes courage to go through times like this. And remember, each soul that's present on earth right now chose to be here during this time and all for different reasons. Some of us here to heal specifically through this time of transition and to come into new light. Again, some of us will heal aspects, some of us won't. But it does take courage to go through such turbulent times and great times of upheaval and change, not knowing for sure what's on the other end of it all. And that's the part that takes courage. So kudos to all of us. Family, yeah. That's about community, really. I mean, there's our individual families, but that's not what this card is about so much as our chosen family, um, our non-blood family, the people we want to be around, the communities we want to be in, the people we love, the ones that we share our values and our belief systems with. Connect even more. Connect even more. It is time. There's no need to wait. There's no need to wait. There's no point in waiting. Waiting for what? The time is now. And there's the change, the transformation. And with all transformation, there's the things we have to leave behind that sometimes can be difficult to, and then there's the beautiful gifts and blessings that come from the things that we say goodbye to, and prosperity. This is all leading towards a golden age of time. Um, so we're still in the thick of it. We're still in the upheaval part, and it will be that way for a number of years. It'll be in a different way, um, but the types of change that want to take place here and will take place here on Earth don't happen in 6 months. They don't happen in a year. So it's going to be you know a process, but it's all to lead us to a better way of being and living, connecting here on Earth. Let's see if there's yeah. Okay, they want me to change decks and see what's in here, and we will close up shop. Healing. Yeah, that's what's taking place. Earth, and everything on her, right? I've talked about this before. It's like getting the toxins out of your body. It's not always comfortable. um, is it good for you? Yeah. And sometimes it's necessary because you're that sick, and life is coming back. Our vitality is coming back. And there's our higher consciousness coming on Earth. I'm going to show you the planets there. And breakthrough. There'll be many breakthroughs. Again, this is a process that is going to be longer than just 6 months, a year. All the change, and I mean about all the changes that are going to take place. Um, this is again bigger picture, bigger cycles of time, bigger energetic patterns that are expressing themselves right now. So there will be a breakthrough. There'll be many breakthroughs throughout the years of things opening and expanding, and us uniting and coming together. And again, on those different timelines, but it's still happening. So I hope you enjoyed that explanation. Um, and just keep going forward. Thanks, everyone.